Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Fu, aka the Tattooed Ronin, and I have a special guest here today, my good friend Robbie. He's been a guest on my channel before, and he made several special appearances in some of my videos. I'll leave his channel link below. So to start off, first off, Robbie, you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and how we met?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me on. I really
Oh yeah, thanks for joining me, man. Always a pleasure to have you on the channel.
Yeah, man. So my name is Rob Garnz, and I have a YouTube channel named Robbie Garnz. And he's gonna put the link in the description. And I'm a former Ranger and Green Beret. I did about almost 26 years in the Army. And I retired in 2016. Currently residing in Arizona.
Okay.
And I am also an indie author.
We're definitely gonna cover that topic soon. For the new viewers who don't really know much about military terminology, can you tell us what a U.S. Ranger and a Special Force soldier is?
Absolutely. So there's different strategic tiers that they have in the U.S. military, and you got like the highest tier, which is like the SEAL Team 6 and those kind of guys. And then, they're more for like strategic and national assets, type of thing. And then you start looking at the special forces, which is more of like a unconventional warfare unit, which would go behind enemy lines. As Aaron Banks used to say, deep within enemy territory, the enemy heartland.
For sure.
Founders of special forces back there in World War II. Real great guy. Well, he passed away a few years ago, but he was a great guy. And anyway, the mission is to work by, through, and with partisan forces who are sympathetic to the U.S. or host nation forces, in which case it's more of like a foreign internal defense, or FID. And they have different mission sets. For example, during Afghanistan, when the war kicked off, you saw those guys on horseback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And probably the Taliban government, and it was Karzai's guys with the Northern Alliance. That was special forces, so that's kind of gives you an idea what special forces or Green Beret would be. Now, Rangers are a completely different skill set, albeit some Green Berets are Rangers or former Rangers.
Right.
So for the Rangers, you have the Ranger battalions. You got 3 different action Ranger battalions that are like action battalions, and they're rapid deployment units. They can deploy at a moment's notice and basically kick ass and take names wherever.
For sure.
They go.
Basically, a group of badasses, elite guys.
They are. They're the first guys in the door. Them along with the Marines, the Marines Expeditionary Force, they work together. Let's not forget our friends of the Marines.
Of course. Yeah.
Shout out to them as well. And but the Rangers, you got like the Ranger battalions, and then you got Ranger School, which is a intense leadership school. It's 62 days. Entails 3 phases. And you basically go through simulated combat patrolling and advanced combat tactics, techniques, and procedures training. And at the end, you wind up with no food or sleep for several days, maybe weeks on end.
Yeah, crazy.
And you have to be evaluated with every phase of leadership position. So when you talk about Ranger School, it's a little different than the Ranger Battalion. So that's something that I asked a lot about. So.
Right. And to go on to the next question, tell us about your book. You're an author. You have this new project that just released. Tell us about your book. What is it about? I know what it's about because I've been reading it, but the new viewers.
By the way, thank you for giving me a review. I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Of course, man. Of course. And for anyone watching this, I'm going to leave a link to all of his projects, channels, and his TikTok below. So definitely check him out. But yeah, tell us about your book. What's it about?
Yeah. Oh, well, the title is Drive On Ranger, My Journey to the Black and Gold. And it's about without restating the title, it's really about my transition from, it starts back in high school, a very brief period. It's a memoir that starts from when I was in high school and had no idea what I wanted to do with my life to when I joined the military, went through basic and AIT, and at the time it wasn't even for infantry, it was for, for supply.
Right.
And then after the first Gulf War, I went back into the military, full-time infantry, and became enthralled with the idea of becoming a ranger, because all of my senior leaders had ranger tabs,
Yeah, that badass tabs. I remember being in the military seeing those. And one thing I want to add, it's very rare to see people with Ranger tab. It's not common, so they are like an elite group of guys, that go through that badass training and stuff. So when you see someone with a Ranger tab, they're a certified badass. Everyone knows that. So yeah. And so far, I love your book. One thing I want to add is I could definitely relate to some of the things you talk about in your story. How the military is a cultural shock, being told what to do. And I was in the National Guard, so I was a reservist too. But I remember going in and getting yelled at, told what to do. It was just so different because it was right out of high school for me as well.
There's nothing that would ever compare to like.
Right.
I tried to cover that as best I could.
Oh, you definitely do, and like reading it made me felt like I was there and training with you as well. And one thing I want to add is the amount of different characters you meet there. You meet so many interesting people from all over the country, friends you would have never met, and you remember that. I still remember some of my buddies in training. So it's.
I'm glad you said that. That's a big part of the book. I tried to. Not just make the book about me, but it's also about the guys that I love to write, without whom I wouldn't be here today. Here today with Major Dad and Special Forces Dad. So it's never no man is an island, as they say. It's never nobody gets a Ranger tab alone. You always rely on the guy, and you help him get his, and he helps you get yours. That's how it works.
Oh, right.
So teamwork is so important to the process. So so it's very interesting. Yeah.
So moving on to the next question, what made you want to work on the book?
Well, that's a good question. For years I've been telling a lot of stories. People ask me about different things that happened in my career.
Right.
And I've been telling the stories, and I think the stories are funny. There's a lot of, that's why I really want to focus on, serious or some serious parts of it, but most of it is actually a lot of funny stories. And I wind up telling a lot of these stories, but not having a context, for the story. So I thought, maybe what if I could get the book, what if I could write a book that would bring everything into context so that anybody could read it, even if you're a civilian, you don't.
Right.
Or you're just interested in the military. Because I try to do my best to provide some level of detail, understanding, like things like the basic battle drill, the basic techniques, which become important later on, when you start talking about being evaluated, under austere circumstances.
Okay, yeah, definitely great. So how long have you been working on this book? Was it something you always wanted to do, or?
Yeah, well, I'm a writer at heart. When I was a kid, I always used to write these little adventures on my old typewriter. I had stuffed animals.
Wow.
I used to give them names, and I would make them go on these adventures, kind of like the Hardy Boys mysteries.
Okay.
I would have the animals be like, Frank and Joe or Chet, and I would have like Doc and I'd have have another set of animals that were the bad guys.
Oh, wow.
Act these other, so I had this whole thing going with that when I was a kid. Fast forward to later on, I just became interested in writing. For years, even when I was in the Army, I would just for fun, I would write like a review of the New York Giants season. Playoffs. I'd write and I'd post it on. At the time, it was Friendster.
Friendster, wow, that's way back.
Facebook. Later, it was Facebook. Now it's just basically writing a book. So, and then with my college, my degree was Asian Studies, and it was a lot of stuff about research. So I got really good at research writing.
Okay.
But it's totally different, than writing a book, like a memoir or a novel, because, you just can't compare. It helps you, but you can't really compare the two.
Right. So, overall, how long did it take to put this memoir together?
Well, actually, better part of 2 years.
Oh, wow. So, around when the pandemic started, basically.
I would say so. Like, I would maybe not right at the beginning of the but I would say like maybe around October. September, October.
Okay, yeah, that year.
And it was funny because I just sat down and I wasn't sure what the book was going to be. I was kind of like, I know I want to write something, and I thought about making it just like my whole journey, like through my whole Army career.
Right.
But then every time I would start writing a section, I'd be like, well, wait a minute, these guys aren't going to know what this is. So I want to work them backwards. And then finally I just ended up with narrowing it down to Ranger School and a 5-year journey.
Okay.
So
okay.
To finishing Ranger School, from when I first enlisted to when I finally pinned on the Ranger tab.
It's crazy. During 2020, it seemed like a lot of us started different goals and like hobbies. Like I started my YouTube journey during 2020.
Actually, yeah. Well, I had previously done some stuff before that, but I wasn't really trying. I was just posting.
Right. And it
just throw it up there. I have stuff from as far back as 2014. When I was in Okinawa, I was just messing around.
Yeah, I remember a video of you hiking in Japan and stuff. It's crazy.
45 seconds just be going up this big hill.
That video got a lot of views, didn't it?
I think it actually did, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird what makes it into the algorithm.
It really is. It really is. Okay, so after writing the book, how did you get it published?
Oh, that in itself is a completely whole other process, which I had to from the ground up because I had no experience and nobody I know has any experience either.
Right.
So the first, I decided to go with Amazon KDP just because that seemed like the most accessible and very little barrier to entry. Seemed relatively easy just to get the book published on that.
Okay.
So what I did was I already have an Amazon account, so I just added a KDP account. So you have to add it's almost like adding a seller's account, if you've ever sold anything on
Okay. I used to sell on Shopify, but I never actually tried Amazon, but I'm sure some process are similar.
It's a similar process, I think, as far as building a seller's account. And then you just make it a KDP account, and then they have a whole section where you have to you add your manuscript, you upload your manuscript. The thing is, the thing I ran into a lot of challenges with that is because the formatting is so different, than what you would think. As far as just writing a term paper, I would use 12 font, and I would have spaces.
Right.
But for the, I had to completely overhaul the format, and I spent a lot of time, and it was really painful. That part of the process was actually pretty painful, especially for the paperback, because the paperback, they didn't seem to want to accept my words, so I finally figured out that I had to change to a PDF, and then I had to do something else with the settings, so the print would, I don't even understand it. I just sort of clawed my way through it, And meanwhile, I had somebody working on Fiverr, I had somebody working on a book cover.
Okay.
She did it. That's the book cover you see.
Right. Yeah, it's a great cover. You definitely figured it out. It sounds like a lot of work, but just like with anything, you put in the work, day by day, and it paid off. So that's awesome. Congratulations again, man.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. And again, the hardest part really about writing was not writing, but was like figuring out what to not put in there.
Oh, right.
The book is already long. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a long book. But, I mean, how did you feel reading it? Did you feel like it was reading pretty quickly, though?
It felt like it was going on a very good pace. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was no fillers, everything made sense in that story from when, you first went to training. I won't talk too much about the book. I don't want to give away. But I could relate to a lot of stuff, like you were reservist at first, but then you wanted to go active duty in the infantry. It just flowed really well.
But, and that's what I was going for, really. It wasn't so much like I was trying to, they always tell you, just like with YouTube videos, like, the video should be this small.
Right.
Pages, but, I mean, in reality, it's just whatever, to me, it's just whatever works.
Yes, what works, and you don't want to take up space for, videos, you don't want a bunch of fillers and stuff. Yeah, everything you had so far, I enjoyed it. It moved at a good pace. Moving on to the next question, who would you say your target audience for this book is?
That's a great question because I'm not going to lie. If you say everybody, then you're lying. Because
right.
They're doing something for everybody is doing something for nobody.
Right.
We got come on. This isn't Ringling Brothers. But I would say that my main target audience is probably, it could be like military, former military, historians, people who are interested in military.
Right.
There's a lot of people who are memoir buffs that just
Of course.
read about others' experiences. They probably enjoy it. Folks who are interested in the military, and even civilians who would like to learn more about the military, because I do have a glossary at the end. Because there are a lot of terms, and I noticed, you probably noticed also that I abbreviate the ranks, as a matter of practice.
Right. I mean, the thing with the Army is they have like, a terminology for almost everything, abbreviation. And if you're a civilian, you're not going to know. So it's awesome that you added on there. So yeah, I definitely agree. The target audience is, veterans, people who are interested in the military, or people who are interested in like Rangers, Special Force, basically badass people and stuff. You'll definitely love the book. And it's awesome that you added that part in there for people who might not understand everything.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, for sure. Because I wanted my audience. I wanted to widen my audience just enough where we would be accessible to non-military people. So I feel like I did the best I could. I guess whoever's watching will have to read the book. And
yeah, you definitely.
About it, but I did try my hardest to do that.
And to talk a little bit about your book, what would you say some of the hardest parts of your training and being in the military would be? It could be Rangers or Special Forces. What would you say would be the hardest part about it?
I'll tell you the truth. Ranger school, the hungry part is what got me. You'll never be hungrier. You never be more tired.
Wow.
You'll never be older, tireder, or hungrier than you are in Ranger school at any given moment. And food becomes an obsession. I think that was the hardest part, because you have to rise, because you're not just expected to go through something. You're not just go snuffy, just snuffy carrying the M60. The positions rotate. So one day you might be the guy just carrying a rifle or carrying the tripod for the M60 machine gun, but the next day you could be the platoon leader, and then you have to rise above that, and you have to pull everybody else out of the muck, because everybody else is in the same bad space mentally from just the pure suck that you're going through. And so I think that overall the hardest part is like just being able to rise above it and to continue the mission. And that's why I would say Ranger School is a specialized skill, because it really does take a lot to do that.
Right. One thing I love when I read your book is when you join the military, going through the training, you rather be lean and mean versus bulk and massive. And definitely that being lean and mean makes sense for a soldier when you're out there fighting in a war, or, rucking with all the gear and stuff. You need that stamina. It's kind of pointless to be big and massive if you can't carry your weight and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I've seen many guys who could bench press 400 pounds, and they couldn't complete a 12-mile road march in under 3 hours.
Right.
The side of the road getting an IV. So
yeah,
I mean, it's really not the size of the dog. The dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Right. Like when you said being hungry, obviously I'd never been to Ranger School, but I remember being a young soldier in Fort Benning, and all I could think about was being hungry, food, and trying to sleep. I was always hungry and tired all the time. And I can't imagine how Ranger School is probably like 100 times worse than that. But, yeah.
Yeah. But we had a joke back in basic training that everyone had a snooze button on their asses. Like, as soon as you sat down, that's what the drill sergeant used to say to us. You guys got snooze buttons on your asses.
Because you're so tired and hungry all the time, and it becomes like a mental game. You really got to push through it. So
it does. It really does. Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, Ranger School is, like Yogi Berra said, it's 50%, it's 90% physical, and the other half is mental.
Right. Okay, so you said that's the hardest part. All right, next question. What do you love the most about the military?
So many great things, so many things I love. I love the training, the regiment, the regimentation, the camaraderie, the guys here left and right, they may not be your best friends, but they're the guys you got to count on. And
Exactly.
you know, and it's such a shock. Again, you mentioned the culture shock of being in the military. Going in, going out is just as big of a culture shock, you know, because you don't find the same thing. You're not going to find the same thing on the other side of the house.
Right.
You know, I retired in 2016. It's really hard to, you know, through YouTube I've made some connections, but as far as my other connections, it's hard to make connections with people who, you know, who don't have something in common with you. So I found that becomes like, you know, that's why I miss the camaraderie.
Yeah, it's definitely a special brotherhood. And even like meeting other veterans that you can talk and relate to. I remember last year we did our interview and it was our first time talking, but it just felt like talking to an old friend. We just clicked like that, you know.
Exactly,
so,
because you know, you have a shared experience with somebody.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
If you serve for 4 years or 25 years, or if you're
you still serve, and it's something you can relate with another veteran. You know, I mean, we talk shit about each other all the time, but it's all love, though. That's the one thing about us veterans. We have really thick skin, but at the end of the day, we always have each other's back, and that's what I love about it. Like, my friends and I talk trash about each other all the time.
You talk about me all day long, but I could throw, but don't you dare talk trash. You know, nobody else better talk trash about me.
Exactly, yeah. It's definitely a brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. We used to have this joke when I was at JPAC. We had all the different branches, so it was so cool. We had the Army, Navy, Air Force, and pretty much everybody was there doing. And this is a missing in action accounting command in Hawaii, where we go look for the guys, you know, the remains of people that were missing in Vietnam and you know, all these different countries during World War II, Papua New Guinea. And it was funny because when the Army Navy game would come on every year, we had the Navy guys on one side, the Army on the other side, and we always joke like, Dave, you're the Navy, you must like Nickelback or something. You know, they like joke.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it gets worse than that too, as well.
You know, no offense, Nickelback. Don't turn off the channel.
Oh yeah, don't get me canceled, man.
No.
I'm just kidding, bro. All right, next question. For anyone out there thinking about joining the military, what advice would you give them?
Oh yeah, great question. I would say like just know what you want out of the military, because the military is so you. There's so many opportunities in there. You know, you could drown an opportunity. You go in there and these guys come off the street like, I want to be Ranger Airborne. You know, they rattle off a list of things. It's like, okay, you know what? Why don't you try to go infantry first?
Yep.
You know, try
okay.
Airborne, and maybe if you have the desire, go to the Ranger Battalion and see how you do. You know, because a lot of times people, you know, they've seen movies and they want to be this or that, but in reality, you just have to test. You know, you got to get in there and you got to see how it goes. You know. So that's a thing too. You just gotta know what you want out of it, what you're willing to put into it. I mean, really, I mean, if it's okay if you just want to do something for a steady job and you want to, you know, make some money for college. There's nothing wrong with that either. Then find something that interests you. But you know, don't try to let anybody else define what you're going in the military to do. You know, it's your journey. So you got to be the one.
Definitely, yeah. And yeah, for sure, definitely with like movies or video games, you know, a lot of people think it's cool. Yeah, I'm going to go, you know, special forces, but I definitely agree with what you said. Go infantry first and see if you like it, because, you know, it's always different. You know, I remember when I went to basic training, I met some of these guys talking about, oh, they're going to do this and that. They're going to be a sniper. And a lot of guys who talk the most, some of them didn't make it through training. I'm sure you met people like that. And yeah, it's definitely a cult. It's different than a movie and a video game, you know, a lot different.
Absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head. It's, like you said, you just have to, you gotta have set goals. You gotta know what you're going in there to do, and you know, you have certain expectations, but you know, just prepare that it's gonna be a lot worse than you can.
Exactly. Yeah. Prepare for the suck. You know, embrace it and just push through. Yeah.
Exactly. Just embrace it. You know, because it's gonna come. Go ugly early is what they say.
Okay. Besides the military, do you have any advice for anyone working towards a goal or dream or anything that might be working towards?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's kind of like along the same lines. You just need to know what it is that you want to accomplish, and then kind of work backwards from there. And try to set attainable. Don't try to take on everything at once. Like when I started writing the book, you can't think about like the whole book. Just think about I'm writing this one chapter. And you think about where it fits into the whole scheme of things, but you don't want to. You want to focus just enough on the individual tasks that'll get you to where you need to be. So I would advise, anybody, just keep on grinding and enjoy the process.
Definitely, yeah, you definitely got to enjoy the process. Just like with anything, like in your fitness journey, you have to find workouts you like. You got see yourself loving the workout, because you hate it every single time. You're not going to stick with it. And you can have good days where you do really well. You're also going to have bad days. But as long as you just keep doing it one day at a time, like one chapter at a time in your book.
Exactly right. I don't think you have to finish everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
You got to celebrate. It's year school. We used to say small victories.
Right.
You get you get smacked around a little bit, but then you got an extra piece of bacon. Somehow. I'm not gonna get too much into the Sears school, but so you're like, screw that guy. I got a piece of bacon. He gonna smack me in the head. My ears are ringing, but I got an extra piece of bacon out of him. So screw that guy.
For sure, man. Gotta enjoy it.
Gotta just be able to. You gotta be able to appreciate. Enjoy the process. Like you said, perfect advice. Find something that you enjoy. And be prepared to modify some of your timeline.
Exactly, yeah.
To a point where you have a timeline, and it's either there's some things, obviously, if it's a life or death, you have to make the timeline. But for most projects, when you're talking about something like a book or a YouTube video, I want my video to come out today, but it's not ready yet. So I'm not going to go out and rush through it, get it out today, and have an inferior product. I want to have a good product. So
True.
If I need a year or two, then that's what you need. You can adjust your timeline. So as long as you maintain your goal and you keep doing the grind, then you're gonna win. In the end, that's how winning is done.
Exactly. Just put in the work.
Yeah, like that Rocky speech to his son. How winning is done.
Oh, I love the Rocky speeches. Like when I work out, I always go on YouTube. I look up like different movie tributes like Rocky and stuff, and it definitely motivates me, especially on days where I don't want to get out of bed.
Right. Yeah. Steve Harvey will motivate you.
Oh yeah, his speech is on point. Yeah, it will make you chase those goals down. Work on it one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Final question. Do you have anything else you want to add? Any shout outs? Any links you want to add? Once again, I'm not have Robbie's book down below in the description, his YouTube channel, all of his contact info for you guys that want to contact him. But anything else you want to add? Any shout outs?
Just thank you to all of my YouTube friends. I'm going to try to name a few. Celine, Majors.
Majors, good.
Yeah, of course, good old Majors. Let's see, a few other guys out there. Let's see. Gosh, now I'm blanking out. I can't believe
Burpee Yoga Uncle. I know you did an interview with him as well.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Majors. He's kick-ass. I'd love to meet him sometime. I'd love to do a workout with him in person sometime. But yeah, just thank you to all my YouTube friends, and thank you to everyone who's gone out and bought the book, and God bless them. God bless you all. God bless everybody. And thanks so much for having me on your channel, Fu. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by. And guys, definitely check out Robbie's channel if you haven't already, and check out his book. Even if you're not a veteran, anyone interested in the military or the training that those elite forces go through, like the Rangers, the Special Forces, you'll definitely love his book. It's definitely entertaining, and it'll open your eyes on how life is in the military, and it'll motivate you, to work on your goals. Your goals might not to become a Ranger like Robbie or join Special Forces, but the lessons from that book will, carry over to different areas in your life. So yeah, check out his book. He's a great guy. Follow him on Instagram as well. But yeah, anything else you want to add, buddy?
Oh no, just thank you very much, and Yes, we'll see you around. Maybe one day we'll get together and do a workout.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely more collaborations in the future and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for stopping by, checking out the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.